Hey YouTubers, and welcome back to Tony the Technician channel. Today we're going to be going into Tool Talk episode 8 and we're going to be discussing screwdrivers. So we're going to really go over some of the things you need to consider when purchasing a screwdriver set, whether you're just getting into the field or maybe you're looking for a new set to replace an old one or anything like that. I have a few sets on hand that I'll show you, so we'll go into what to consider and then I'll show you what I have, my thoughts on them, pros and cons to kind of each one, and I really hope you guys enjoy. But when looking for a screwdriver set, there's really two main things that you need to consider, and that being the shaft tip, how strong the tip is, especially depending on how often you use a screwdriver. If you use screwdrivers fairly often, besides the tip needing to be strong, the other main thing is going to be the handle. How comfortable is that handle to you? Now obviously this is going to be personal preference. Some people like round screwdriver handles, some like tri-lobe, some like square. There's a lot of different options out there, and finding one that is comfortable to you to use regularly and often is important. Not just the tip, but being able to use that screwdriver for hours and be okay with it. So those are the two primary things that you want to look into. And then if you work with anything Japanese, you do want to look into a JIS, a Japanese industrial screwdriver. It is slightly different from a Phillips head, and the nice thing is they can be used for almost all Phillips screws or fasteners, but they are also able to obviously work with the JIS screws or fasteners, where a Phillips head you're more likely to round a JIS screw or fastener. So it is handy to just have a JIS screwdriver on hand. That is going to be one of my next purchases, just because I haven't necessarily needed it yet. I might have, maybe, in the past when I've rounded off a screw or a fastener, that might have been why. I don't know. I do want to pick one up. I don't have one for this video, but I will post a picture of the differences between a standard Phillips head screwdriver and a JIS screwdriver, just so you guys can kind of see the difference. It's got more of a 90-degree angle between the tips and a slightly different angle design. So just keep that in mind. That is something to consider if you work with anything Japanese. And then let's go ahead and get into the few sets that I have on hand. Once again, I'll share with you the pros and cons and everything, and then I'll show you. I'll post a couple pictures up of a few sets, because one I keep in my work van, so I want to show you the entire set, and then I'll show you the one here in my toolbox here at home, and I really hope you guys enjoy. If there's any information that you guys would like to know that I may forget to mention or anything like that, please feel free to drop a comment down below. If you guys enjoy this video, please make sure to hit that thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Let's get into this. Okay, YouTubers, so here we are looking at the screwdrivers that I've owned for at least the last 6 to 7 years, and then some of them within the last, I'd say, year and a half. So, just getting started, like I stated before, the two things that you primarily want to look for when purchasing a screwdriver set is a good material for the tip, and then a good, comfortable handle, something that you can use multiple times for a long period of time, something that's not going to be uncomfortable, obviously. So starting from the left, we have the Matco. This is made by Witt in Germany, and I've had that since 2015, I want to say, and that was my primary set that I used at work. And then I got the Gearwrench set for home, which I've had since 2015, 2016, and used at home. Then I got the Tekton tri-lobe high torque screwdrivers, and those had been lightly used while I went to college, and then they came home, and then Tekton released the new hard handle within the last couple years, and I used that at home for a little while, and then just in the last 6 months I actually ended up taking those to work and using those. So out of all of them, the Gearwrench I've probably used the most for home use, especially now. So I'll just kind of share with you my thoughts and pros and cons to each. So the Matco ones have held up nicely. They are obviously the most expensive. I want to say I got this either in a 6-piece or an 8-piece set, and I got this while I was going to college as well. I want to say the set was around $200. I'll post a picture of the set and then as well as the pricing. And this is the old design. I think they still sell it. I'm not 100% sure, but they do have a new design of it where basically this felt grit is just shaped differently. It's the newer version, but you do have this kind of brushed look to it here. Then it has the size of the screwdriver, and then the tip is like a black oxide. The tip is held up well. The handle is held up well. Instead of having a hex shank at the base, it does have kind of like this flat base where you can put a wrench on it. I don't really use those features, so that doesn't really matter to me. Like if you're one that uses this feature fairly often, I would think that this is a better design than what this is here, but once again, I don't use those features. But as you can tell, this is the same design here, the brushed look here, and then the same tips, but the Gearwrench set being made in Taiwan. And then the Matco set is a tri-lobe, so it does feel good in the hand. The felt feels good. You get good grip with it. It's a nice sized handle. And then you do have that pass through there that you can either use to hang the screwdriver, or you can pass another screwdriver through it in order to get torque that way. So overall, a really good screwdriver. I've really enjoyed it over the last 7 years. It's got a lot of use to it, and it's held up well. So I do like the tri-lobe design. I like the comfort of it, and the tip has held up well. So overall, it's a good screwdriver. Con, the price is quite a bit higher than any of the others, but this one is made in Germany. Then next up, the Gearwrench, which is a 20-piece set. I have the 20-piece master screwdriver set from Gearwrench. This is the old design. They do have a new design. They also have a much larger set now, but they do offer this same 20-piece master set in the new handle design, which is just basically switched to the orange and black color, and the design of the handle has changed. I believe everything about the actual shank portion or the screwdriver tip is all the same. It's just the handle that's been updated. It's got a little bit different shape to it, and the grip is a little bit different. But with this, it is also a tri-lobe, but it is a very subtle tri-lobe. It's almost round. As you can see here, it still rolls fairly easy. There's not much of a lobe to it, where the Matco is more of a tri-lobe. It's a lot harder to roll, where the Gearwrench is actually fairly easy to roll. So if you're worried about your screwdrivers rolling away, the Gearwrench probably isn't the best shaped handle. You can't get as much torque as any of these other ones with this, but as far as pricing, it's a great set. I want to say I paid around $75 for this 20-piece set, which comes with multiple Phillips, multiple flatheads. It comes with a couple different size torques, precision screwdrivers, 6 precision screwdrivers, I believe, and then 2 stubbies. And the tips have held up well. No deforming, anything like that. No severe chipping. Once again, overall, it's great for the price, but the handle design is probably the least desirable one out of all of these sets, I would say. But overall, still a good screwdriver set. I've been using it for years and really enjoyed it. It's still my go-to here at home just because it's in the same place I've always kept my screwdrivers. So it's like I automatically go to this set even though I have other sets here at home. Not necessarily because this set's better than the others. It's just that's where I've always gone for my screwdriver, so this is the one that I end up grabbing. But overall, really happy with it. It does have that design there if that's something that you're looking for. It does have some ridges here to kind of give you some grip, but once again, not a very aggressive tri-lobe design. I actually use the stubbies a lot. Ever since working on the race team, on the race car, I used a lot of stubby screwdrivers. It was one of my go-to tools. And now anytime I can use a screwdriver, anytime I can use a shorter one, I do, just because I have more accuracy and more precision with it. I feel like I can get more torque on it. I can work faster with it. But obviously those are also some of my go-tos. I hardly ever find myself using a number 3 or a larger flathead with length to them unless absolutely necessary. So these and the standard length are really my go-to out of the 20-piece set. And then all of these here will be linked down in the description under the tools or tools continued link or on the Tekton website. And then this set one can be found on the Matco website. So after the Gearwrench set, I got the Tekton 10-piece, I believe, tri-lobe high torque screwdriver set. And at first, when these were released, when I bought mine, it was only available in the black oxide finish for the blade. Now they are available in the chrome finish, and then it will still have the black oxide tip, kind of like what you see here on the other design from Tekton. Now, I have heard a few people say that they have deformed the tips on these. With my standard use, these are going to have the same blades, the Tekton 4-sided hard handle and the tri-lobe. I've used these at work for about 6 months, probably 3 to maybe 4 days a week. I'll get some use out of them. So they've been used a decent amount, but not in extreme rough situations or anything like that. I primarily use screwdrivers for dash work, panel work, removing tail lights, plastic trim pieces, you know, in the engine bay, under the car, simple things like that with small, easy fasteners, things like that. Because truthfully, anytime I can, I will use my drill or impact driver, just because speed is a good thing to have. The more work I can get done, the more money I make. So this is what I primarily use, but anytime I can't, that is when I go to my screwdrivers. So with the tri-lobes, some of the pros and cons. When I first got this, like I stated in previous videos, I did not think I was going to like this handle design. It was really awkward looking. I thought it was going to be very uncomfortable. This is actually one of the most comfortable screwdriver handles that I've ever used, and I really enjoy it. Like I said, there were a few people that said they had deformed the tips. Possibly if you're like an electrician or a carpenter or somebody that uses screwdrivers a lot in maybe a little bit harsher environment, you know, just, you know, using them all day, possibly that could happen. I haven't had any issues with my tips. There's no issues with the black oxide coating either. With this being all black oxide, the con being that you do want to oil these depending on your environment a couple times a year, to if you use these in your vehicle where they're open to the environment, or you live in a state with a lot of humidity, you may want to oil these more often because they're not as protected as something that's chrome plated. But it is good to have a black oxide tip, because then you won't have chrome chipping or anything like that, and the black oxide holds up very well. So I've really enjoyed these tri-lobe screwdrivers, and once again, those ones stay here at the house. I want to say $200 something. I had a picture posted. The 10-piece set, $30 to $40, possibly $35 for that 10-piece set, $75 for the 20-piece set. And then getting into the Tekton 4-sided hard handle screwdriver, this is their newest release and the newest ones that I own. I got in the chrome blades with the black oxide tip. Once again, the tips have held up just as well, just like the other Tekton screwdrivers. Haven't had any issues with them. I do like the chrome plating. I don't have to worry about oiling them as much, and I've got some good use out of these. They do have USA up there on the top, so Germany, USA, Taiwan, USA. And I really enjoy this 4-sided hard handle design from Tekton. It's very comfortable. The grooves are very smooth. I mean, you can get a good grip on them. They're durable. I've dropped them quite a few times and they've held up very well. They wash very easily. Surprisingly enough, I really expected these to be the first things to rub off, because I do, especially with the stubby, a lot of the times I'll get a lot of torque by grabbing at the back of the screwdriver, and I actually run my screwdriver from the back. So I'm really surprised this stuff hasn't rubbed off yet, but it has held up well. It gives you the style, whether it's Phillips, flathead, anything like that, and then you get the size like P2, and then it does state the part number and USA. And overall, a really good screwdriver. The other thing I keep in my work van is the Tekton 4-sided hard handle design, but this is their 6-in-1, and I keep all of my Torx. I have 2 of these with different Torx bits in them because I do a lot of tailgates and tail lights in GMCs and Fords, and a lot of those run T15s and T25s and things, so it's very common. So I'm using these pretty often throughout the week, and it's held up well. I really enjoy them. Once again, comfortable handle. The only difference between these Tektons and this one is the handle is made in the USA, whereas the rest of this, the bits and the shank holder or bit holder portion, is made in Taiwan. But once again, I haven't had any issue with those. I haven't had any rusting yet or anything like that. I'm extremely happy with them. Plus the 6-in-1 bit drivers are like $10 each, or you can get the handles for like $4, and you can select whatever bits you want. So it's a pretty good deal. But these are the primary ones that I've been using within the last year to 7 years, and really enjoyed them. Haven't had any major failures or needed any major warranty. But once again, like I stated, anytime I can, I will use my impact driver or my drill in order to get those fasteners out. But for more delicate work or awkward situations, I do go to my screwdriver. Let me know your guys' thoughts, what you guys have experience with, the ones you enjoyed, or maybe some that you've had bad experiences with, and I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys are considering any of these, once again, all of these will be linked down in the description for you guys, but I'll quickly show you the Gearwrench set in my toolbox that I keep here at home, and hopefully I've posted the pictures of the other sets up in here. Once again, for home use, I've had no issues with these. The case is even held up well. Like I said, I don't move it, so I don't have to worry about it breaking or anything like that. I use the stubbies all the time. The precision screwdrivers have gotten good use out of them. I do enjoy those. It does have a small precision Phillips here as well. Then you have a couple of Torx. You have the T15 and the T20. Truthfully, I haven't really used those all that much. Those would be handy, but like I said, at work I keep those 6-in-1s just because I deal with various different Torx, so it's nice to just have a couple different tools with a lot of different Torx bits than to carry a bunch of different Torx screw or Torx drivers around. A 1 standard length, you got one your Phillips, one at 6 inches, and then you have your standard Phillips number 2 and your number 3. Truthfully, the flathead, the long one, and the Phillips number 3 I don't use. This I've used a couple times as a small pry bar, and that I've basically used this here, the Phillips and flatheads through here. Don't really use the Torx. I do enjoy the precision screwdrivers, and then these stubbies get a lot of use. But overall, I think for $70 to $100, this is a great set. And also keep in mind that they have the new Gearwrench design with this exact same set. So other than that, I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your guys' thoughts, or if you guys have any questions or comments on any of these that I've used. Maybe I forgot to mention something. Other than that, if you guys enjoyed, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And as always, if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. See you guys next time.